Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is episode 51 of our Legend of Zelda-based Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. I am the Game Master ArticulateT, and with me as always, I have Renji Vox, being played by TheNetherlad.
A good evening, good day, and enjoy.
I have Hikan Sio, being played by Alvarance.
Oh, dang it, it didn't pick me up there. I said he is one angry boy today.
I have Ziden Shari, being played by Robopirate.
Hello.
And I have Max, being played by Keistrith.
Who is also angry, but for different reasons, which are well known.
There's a different tone of anger between the two of them. Like for Max, I imagine that picture of Superman from Kingdom Come where it's just the shadow over two glowing red eyes. And then for soft boy Hikan, I imagine that meme picture of that kitten who's facing away from the camera with "No talk me Angie."
Aww.
I was more thinking that Max's anger is more of a background.
It's just the quiet growl in the background.
Yeah. It's always there. That's my secret.
Yeah.
It just tends to explode a bit whenever he throws lightning around.
Okay, so what happened last time, folks?
Well, last time on the Hyrule Chronicles. Having fought a Hydra with the help of some moblins, the Storm's Eye decides to part ways with the moblins and continue to explore the Drumlick Mire, searching for signs of the Wizrobe Flaamgo, whose abandoned store they had found within the swamp. They soon find an outpost with moblins and a Hinox, and having had no luck tracking the Wizrobe by themselves, the party decides to let Hikan talk to the moblins to find out if Flaamgo had been there, and what the moblins might know about his movements. During the party, Ziden notices that the moblins' leader, Gorespire, has something attached to his axe, which is recognized as a magical artifact called the Ether Medallion. Hikan freezes up as Ziden telepathically mentions the medallion, but the negotiations end without any trouble. As the party leaves the camp, with Renji staying inside, Hikan tells the party that he had been searching for the Ether Medallion. After a while, Renji sneaks out of the camp, returning to the party and admitting that his idea to stay inside through the night was a pretty stupid idea. Further plans are made, strategies are decided, and the party rests before setting out to raid the outpost and to try and swipe the medallion from Gorespire. Renji and Ziden sneak into the camp invisibly, with Ziden in the form of a giant spider, while Hikan and Max offer backup on Loftwings. While Ziden and Renji manage to disarm some of the moblins, their attempts at doing so with Gorespire's axe have the unintended effect of waking the moblin boss and his lackeys. A fight ensues, and despite the party's best efforts, they do not manage to disarm Gorespire, who actually uses the axe to rend space-time and teleport across the country, leaving the Storm's Eye to mop up the remaining moblins and the Hinox. They are quickly dealt with, though, with the medallion gone, tensions are still high.
Indeed. And we return to this scene a short time after you have interrogated the remaining moblins that are alive, and been faced with the fact that Gorespire, in possession of a powerful and mysterious artifact, has vanished to parts unknown. So it is relatively dark still. I say relatively dark. You did wait until nightfall in order to perform your attack, as it were. What is the plan, folks?
I do want to check in on everyone. Okay, so the moblins are some of the moblins are currently what are they, incapacitated, tied up? What?
The ones.
Some of them ran away.
Yeah,
Right.
some ran away. The ones who are still there, what did you guys do with them after you asked them questions?
Why isn't I threatened to
Um,
not go after Drumnick, and then I kind of just walked out after that because they couldn't give me any information about Gorespire.
okay.
In that case, I will. I think with my perception, I would have noticed Hikan leaving unless he specifically decides to be sneaky about it.
No, it was literally just, if you go after the town, I'll hear about it, and then I'll do to you what I did to the Hynox. And
Yep.
then he walked away, more to kind of take a deep breath away from, or directly away from the camp. He did give Max, like he slipped a healing potion into Max's pocket because Max's hands were also clenched in fists.
Right. With that, I will follow Hikan, and if Hikan is somewhere like standing still, if there is a nearby tree, I will lean against it and wait for Hikan to do, say, whatever, something.
Probably at the moment where rather than saying things, he's just focused on breathing, trying to get himself back under control because he was very, very upset.
Max is nearby, but like maintaining at least 10 feet from anyone else at all times.
I am probably about 20 feet away from Mara, where we were at the tree line, to be more exact.
As you kind of as you arrive back to where you left Mara, she kind of stands out in the open as you approach, opens her mouth to say something, but realizes that emotionally, probably, like, there's something else going on. And she says, is everything, what happened? Are you alright?
We're fine. We just complications arose, and I look over at Hikan, and I ask, so how important is that medallion?
The expression on Hikan's face is one that's kind of it's a mix of emotions that's kind of compounded on the fact that and you've seen this frustration before when he has difficulty specifically finding words to communicate how he's feeling. And so like he's moving around, his hands are like ringing, he's looking for things to kind of express himself and put himself out there. He's putting his hands together, clenching them in fists, moving them around, kind of just looking for tactile senses at the moment. And he,
I put a hand on Hikan's shoulder and then carefully say, is this more important than finding Flaamgo to you right now?
When I saw the black stuff at the warehouse, I was really angry because I saw what that kind of black stuff could do to people. But the thing is I could help the people get better. I could help them heal from some of those injuries. You've seen what Max's lightning can do, but Max is really good at controlling it.
Mhm.
And you've seen what the javelin can do.
Right.
And that medallion is a lot stronger than the javelin, at least. And it can't be controlled like this. Like Matt says, lightning. I'm upset because I'm afraid of what he can do, because he was already hurting people by attacking Drumnick Town. I don't know if I want to go take care of that right now, because I know what Flaamgo's doing can also hurt a lot of people. But I don't think we can stop, even if we somehow found him. I don't know how to stop him from just making another hole and running away again. I was sent to go find these things, and someone has it that's going to hurt people, or has hurt people.
In this case, I'm sorry, we have to set priorities, and if that means that we need to change course and have our merry band go to the other side of the country, then I will support that change.
By the time we get to the castle, if he really did go all of that way, he could easily be in Sarkosa, or he could be over at the Gerudo Fortress, or he could be anywhere. We don't know where he's going. We know where Flaamgo's going, at least.
That's true.
And I know that sometimes things have to take a back seat, but it was right there. It was right there.
It was. And I'm sorry. If I'd been stronger, if the magic had worked.
If the magic had worked, if the 2 times that I hit him had done the thing where I make him stop worked, if all sorts of things worked, but it didn't, and focusing on it not working is gonna make all of us be in a bad mood. I'll get over it eventually, but right now I'm just...
The important thing is that you're alive. All of you are. And sure, if it hadn't worked this time, yeah, but you're alive. That means you have another opportunity. We'll get him.
Renji, do you still have paper?
I do.
Could I borrow some when we get back to Drumnick?
Of course.
Before we leave. Thank you.
Yes, I definitely need to write some letters myself. We definitely need to find a way to communicate faster.
It is late, though. We should...
Yes.
Should we camp here or should we head back to Drum?
How long did it take us to get to Drumnick? Or from Drumnick?
like the journey from Drumnik, the encounter with the Hydra and the other Moblins, and this whole plan, if I remember correctly, is taken place over the course of a single day. So
Yeah.
you're able to get back to Drumnik town, but it'll probably be sunup, or it'll be very late at the very least by the time you get back.
If there was a Hydra, and I don't know if other Moblins will come back and try to be angry, or those ones will change their mind. I don't think it's safe for us here.
Do you think we should destroy the camp?
No.
They won't come back.
What's the plan?
Head back to Drumnik and rest until sunup.
Okay,
Good idea.
let's
We
get
gotta
moving.
find the spider, though.
What has Ziden been up to in this period of time?
Quietly listening.
Okay.
Oh God!
Ziden must have accidentally cast Pass Without Trace on himself again.
One of the
He's been doing that this whole time. We just haven't noticed.
The only time that I have rolled a natural 1 on initiative is when we were fighting Skulltulas.
Yeah.
And so it's just like Hikan's just not observant when it comes to spiders, apparently.
Well, they do have that odd habit of like, when outside of human perception, they disappear into another dimension.
Like all spiders.
All
I don't
spiders.
recall Ziden actually turning back from being a giant spider, so...
It's just there. Just in the background.
Just lingering far enough out of sight that I'm not certain if it is a giant spider or if it's like...
Kind of in that kind of setting scenario where if it was taken with a camera, it would be on a shitty like Polaroid and the spider would be off center. But yeah. So you gather your party, you gather your things, and you trudge your way back to Drumnik town. Of course, it being late, as you get there, you find that the gates are closed. You see a pair of guards peering over the side. One of them says, "Who goes there?"
We are the Storm's Eye. We've been here before. We've hopefully made your town a little bit safer. Can we come in?
Yeah, it glances over all you. So, all right, open the gate. Better get in quick.
Right.
The tuk, 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 as the wooden gate swings open and you head inside. The moment all of you enter the town, it slowly closes again. And there's a as they rebar it. Yeah, you have returned successfully to Drumnik town. I'm guessing you're going to what was the place? The
Given that
Moblin
it's very
Kicker.
late. Yeah, I was gonna say Hikan's going straight to the Moblin Kicker because it's very late.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way to the Moblin Kicker. And inside, you see that pretty much the whole tavern area is empty, apart from the one person behind the bar. And instead of your swarthy Goron friend, who is called Ruckler, it is instead this big moss green looking Dynalfoss who's kind of just leaning on the bar and swiveling their head back and forth slowly as if to scan the room. They stop as they see you enter and go, Yeah. Looking for a room?
You're the cook, right?
Skullmax.
Skullmax. Yeah. We were here yesterday. I think my buddy Renji here paid for rooms, extra for rooms.
Oh, have you got your keys still?
We should do.
Hikan
Yeah.
looks to the more reasonable people that he was staying with when it comes to remembering things.
I try my bag of
Mara
holding.
probably has our key.
I think I have the key.
Mara presents the
If,
key to her room and stuff.
I take out my key.
Yes. Get on up. Try not to make any more noise.
Thank you.
I'll manage.
And kind of like side eyes you as you make your way back upstairs and return
side-eye
to
back.
Yeah. You make your way into your rooms. They haven't as said, no one else has been in here, so they haven't been touched since you guys have been there before. And you situate yourselves and have a decent night's sleep. By the time you wake up in 4 hours, the telltale signs of dawn peer through the windows. The sky being this kind of pale orange as the sun rises in the distance. Outside, you can see the outside you can see the morning mist rolling over the grounds. And maybe one or two people going about their morning errands amidst the various guards that are just wandering through the town. Yeah, and your night has been undisturbed.
Good. I head to kind of the guardhouse to brief them on what we have done.
Okay. You head over to the guardhouse, and inside you see it's a very basic affair. While you have like various people sitting down at tables, tending to their gear, lightly chatting. At one end of the room, on a singular table, is the image of Captain Whitestone, the strapping young man with the long blonde hair, as he sits and kind of pores over a journal entry. He's got his armor half on, as it were. So like the metal plates haven't been attached yet, but he's wearing the gambeson that goes underneath. And he looks over and kind of like gives you a nod as you enter.
I return the nod. Captain Whitestone?
Master Renji Vox, was it?
It is.
Hmm.
You have a good memory.
Yeah, well, have to, I guess, in certain times. What can I do you for this morning?
Me and my companions went into the mire yesterday. We were looking for a wizrobe by the name of Flaamgo. He's been a thorn in our side for a while.
Yeah, I remember you
sadly,
mentioning yesterday.
Didn't find him. Did find some moblins and a Hynox as well.
Okay.
Sure. You were familiar with those in the mire?
Well, we do get a lot of moblin attacks as of late. There has been one Hynox, but we drove him away the last time.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, well.
Saw some of the moblins. The leader has absconded with quite a dangerous artifact.
Leader, huh?
Indeed. Goes by the name of Gorespire.
Sounds familiar, at least in some capacities. But, yeah, so Inox is dead, leader's gone. I'm guessing the camp is in shambles.
I did bring up the suggestion of torching the place, but it's been abandoned since yesterday, so I don't know what that really would do.
Okay. Well, I'll have to send some scouts to verify everything, of course, but
of course.
By all means, you've done a tremendous job. We do get a lot of moblins from different clans that are coming through, so if this was one clan, then, I mean, it won't solve the problem, but you have done a tremendous job nonetheless. Let's see. How about this? And he stands up. He wanders over to a locked cabinet, which he produces a key, unlocks it, opens it up, and he takes out like a couple of leather sacks and moves them over to the table. Says, so, let's see. And he just opens them up and begins counting out coinage, and eventually provides you with a tidy sum of 250 gold pieces, which he kind of haphazardly just pushes towards you on the table, and says, unfortunately our funding is a little low at the moment, but for taking care of an entire moblin camp, I think this should suffice as a reward.
You're saying that you're not very well funded.
Mm-hmm.
Are you certain this is proper use of funds?
Well, I mean, we have by my estimate, this should be, we should still have enough to take care of our general supplies and the salaries of the men. This is more of a slush fund, I guess. It's very rare that we have situations where there's been such a colossal victory compared to most things. We usually are in more of a stalemate with the moblins that live in the Drumnick Mire. So, I mean, where else are we really going to spend it, to be honest?
Well, there's the moblin kicker. I do appreciate it, and so will my companions. I was wondering if you have any means of communicating faster than a runner.
Faster than a runner, huh? Unfortunately, no. Last I heard, there were only 2 individuals within the whole connection of the Hyrule Kingdom that really had an eye on long-range communication that would be faster than a horse. Or at least, I suppose, 3. One person, I can't remember their name at all, was suggesting something in the range of a Cargarok or similar bird of general speed that could do that sort of job. But finding birds like that and then training them is a long and arduous process. I believe Lord Dr. Crane had suggested some kind of mechanical solution, but we have yet to actually hear back from him on that one, and that was several months ago. And we would have spoken to Lord Draymore about a magical solution, but he's been missing for a while too.
Right. Well, then that is something that we'll have to keep looking into. Thank you for your information.
Not a problem.
And on the account of Lord Dr. Crane, I fear that he may have other things on his mind.
He often does.
He often does.
Yeah.
He seems like a person who can quickly put his mind to different things.
I fear the day that when he runs out of if he runs out of ideas before he dies, is a day that, well, I don't want to think about. He's got a keen mind even in his old age, but there's so many things in so many different ways. I remember having to sit down with my father when he was around one time, and that was when he was younger and far more energetic, and truthfully, you don't want to think about it too hard.
How old is Captain Whitestone here?
Captain Whitestone is 28 years old.
Oh, okay, so he has a decade on me. It's like I only know the man. Well, I've known him for my entire life, which still is not as long. He does seem to go on, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, we are planning, I suppose, on heading towards the mountains.
Oh, really? Which one in
we've
particular?
Snow Peak. Snowhead.
I see. Okay.
We've heard that Flaamgo, the Wizrobe I mentioned, may have been heading up there in search of rare wildlife.
On Snowhead?
Yep.
Oh man, no, that's
well, you laugh, but we've seen him keeping a menagerie of creatures. Not and having squared off with a Hinox, that's not even the worst of things. We've seen him imprisoning a Lionel.
And it raised an eyebrow at that, a Lionel.
I swear on my father's honor, hiding wherever he is in some shadow.
That's impressive, especially considering the fact that one would say that a Lionel's level of sapience would mean that it isn't technically an animal, but...
Right. It surprised us too, and surprised me even more when we set it free that it didn't try to kill us all.
Possibly. That's something to keep an eye on, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Well, I wish you luck in that regard. I would suggest stopping off in Zora's domain, at least briefly. They'll probably have some kind of guide or at least appropriate supplies for traversing Snowhead Mountain. Considering most things, of course.
That's a good suggestion. I've been meaning to brush up on my Zoran.
Fair enough. In the meantime, thank you again for the help that you provided us, and if at all you'd like to spend any more time in Drumnik, you're probably more than welcome to. Yeah, and we'll just keeping the peace. We'll keep an eye out for this Flaamgo character as well. We'll try and detain him if we see him.
Thanks.
Not a problem.
He's a slippery fellow. But thank you. And I just put all the coins in my bag of holding.
Okay.
We'll keep in touch if we notice anything. If we come across another Moblin clan, we'll try and see what we can do.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
Save watch. And I leave the guardhouse.
Okay. You leave the guardhouse, and I guess you return to your companions. What are the rest of you doing while this went down?
Hikan, after getting some paper from Renji, is writing a letter to his monastery, specifically to his master, describing Gorespire to the best of Hikan's limited vocabulary. Big, red, good with words for a moblin. The axe describes the axe, and it's like a mail made of armor made of rings.
Are you writing this near the rest of us at the table?
He's just sitting at a table writing it. Yeah, so.
Are you writing it in Sheikah?
This, yes, he would be writing it.
Okay, Max can't help then.
But he's just he's writing to get it on. Unlike the last letter, this one's very quick and to the point. Whereas the last letter was, it's been a while since I updated you. Things are awesome, all happy. This one is, this is who I ran into that has the thing that you told me to go look for. If you hear anything from him, because he freaking teleported across the country. Kind of thing. And then he's looking for a runner or somebody to give it off to.
Okay. Awesome. I need to remind myself how much money that is for the distance. But yeah. As I said, Mara would offer to help, but she is also like incapable of at least trying to word it, and also kind of considering the mood you were in the previous night, she's like, I don't want to interrupt anything that might be super personal.
About 110 miles.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's fair. It's just Hikan's very focused on this. It's that response when it's like, I gotta do everything that I can and then hope for the best because I don't know what else to do and I'm anxious about that.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. So you find an appropriate mail runner, who like the mailmen of Hyrule, famous for never using a fucking horse. It's always on foot.
Gotta get that exercise in.
Yeah. See him. You see.
Lots of shouting of "Hey,
hey!" You see him with his like his. You see this guy who's like tan skin, fairly tall and lean, with this kind of scruffy black hair, but he's wearing like the traditional postage garb of a white leotard and like a red backpack, red hat. I think they have a red flag on their back as well. It's been a while since I've seen the postman. Which taken out of context. It's like, I know what an actual post person looks like in the UK, god damn it.
would this happen while I enter the tavern?
Admittedly, Hikan is a very slow writer.
Because if the runner is going past Hyrule Castle Town, then I want to send in some of my mission notes.
Yeah. That's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Hold on.
Basically, it's just a small summary of what we've been doing. Basically, from leaving Hyrule Castle to Sarkosa, the talk of the Twilight Cartel, also all in Sheikah, and what we've been doing here in Drumnick Town and heading towards Snowhead.
Okay. Hold on a sec. That's weird.
I've been writing a letter to Nihilus, like a personal thing. However, I am not sending that just yet.
Okay. I'm just gonna refresh my page here because the so for the YouTube recording, at least the music will stop and then start again. But I just had a very weird thing on Roll20 where it was like the zoom function was really broken, and I don't know what the problem with it was, but it was like it would only like scroll up a little bit and then it would stop, and then every time you'd zoom out it would zoom in instead, and like
Happens.
it happens. All right, so I figured out what it is, I think, which means I need to refresh my page again.
Okay.
I can't currently use the hide from others marker for measuring
Whoops.
distances, because that causes everything to crash for some reason, which is weird. That's a very specific bug. So I'm just gonna do it. No, that's the wrong thing I want to do. That is actually move Drumnik. I don't want to do that.
I just checked. I don't have the option of the hide from others thing either.
That's
Doesn't
45 mile distance. All right.
I have it.
So it's 45 to Castletown and then 75 from Castletown to the area generally where the monastery would be.
Yeah.
Can't
Absolutely.
actually draw lines anyway. I'll read it.
Hey. All right. Okay. So, music, if you'd be so kind as to continue playing. It's done that thing where every playlist thing is been fully opened, which is fun. But anyway, you find, so if you want to do a letter, you can do. I'm guessing you probably go around about the same time to find the postman. As I said before, they are a tall, lean individual with tan skin and scruffy dark hair, wearing their traditional postman's garb. And look over to you and say, looking to send some mail?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Okay. Where are you heading to?
Us? You? Or do you mean?
Or
you
the
want
mail,
to know
sorry. Turn
the mail,
phrase.
right? That's okay. These, and I hand like a stack of cards and pages. These should go to Hyrule Castletown, to the castle person named Nihilus Vox.
Oh, fancy. Okay. I can do that. That's perfectly fine. Let's see. Judging by the stack here and the distance it needs to go, I'm going to say that's a conservative estimate of around about 2 gold pieces for that service.
No problem. And I hand him 2 gold pieces.
Okay.
There's a monastery to the southwest of Rudolph Village in the mountain range, and I hand him the letter.
Okay. And he kind of like takes a deep breath in as he calculates the mileage on that one. Says, so that will be 3 gold, 3 silver, please.
I just hand him 10 gold.
Oh. Hey, would you like your change, sir?
No, thank you.
Okay. Awfully kind. He pockets the cash. He makes sure he's got everything, puts it securely in his backpack, limbers up, and then it's like, okay, I'll head on out. I'll make sure they get there on time. Gives you a mock salute, and
Take care. Safe travels.
turns and jogs out of town.
God, I hope no one else had any posts to send today.
Right.
The postman has gone.
dear. Yeah, you have successfully sent your letters.
Yay!
Woo!
No. The Twilight Princess jogging noises he makes.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, should we get going?
Well,
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. If you if you guys are.
Anything specifically to prepare? Oh, and I start handing out 50 gold pieces to each of us, and also hand a pouch to Mara.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. This was a reward from Captain Whitestone. He was rather grateful of us routing the moblins.
Max is gonna glance around town. This place isn't big enough to have a bookshop, is it?
Make a if you want to go looking for one, make an investigation check. And if you want to make a conservative guess, make an insight check.
Insight.
Okay.
19.
Yeah, you don't believe Drumnick Town would have a dedicated bookshop.
Okay, I'll save this money for next time then. Nash just tucks it away.
Khan will help get the horses ready.
Okay. Right. So, where are we headed?
East, I think. Isn't it east?
Captain Whitestone did suggest that if we are to head up Snowhead, that we should check in on Zora's domain first, get some supplies in, maybe get some clothes for the weather, that sort of thing.
I'm guessing that's on the way.
It's not directly on the way, but it is pretty close.
It would be the closest settlement to the mountains, so I guess that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Okay then.
Okay. You acquire your horses.
Reacquire.
You reacquire your horses, and in that process, you'll make your way to the east, onwards to further adventure. Let's see. So my first question is this. Which side of the river are you going to start on? Are you going to cross the bridge to go on the north side, or continue along the south side?
Has anyone been to Zora's domain?
I was going to ask, has Renji been there? Maybe.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time Max has ever heard of it.
Well, there's also Mara and Ziden. Ziden's old as dirt, so he might have been there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that is up to your characters.
Okay, like I could reasonably have it that if the royal family would have gone to Zora's domain for a visit or some sort of thing, then Nidus would have come and Renji would have gone with them.
Okay.
I'd say that yes, Ziden has been there before.
Yeah.
So do we go in from the south bank or the north bank?
As far as either of you are aware, there are a couple of land-based entrances to Zora's domain. I mean, the biggest and most accessible one's definitely going to be by the river, but that would require a boat.
Which we have.
Which you have, so you can always take your boat. But can you fit you and your horses on your folding boat?
Us, yes. Our horses, maybe not. But I would think we could best head up to Zora's domain from the south side of the river. And there are bridges that span to the north side when we do get there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, if the decision is to go on the south side of the river, you exit via the southern entrance to Drumnik, circle around the town, and continue onwards for a good distance. It's actually not terribly far, and considering that after you leave the mire and go on to somewhat more pleasant plain land, or more pleasant plains. Plain land sounds stupid.
Very boring land.
Yeah, very boring land. Plain land. As you get onto that kind of area, or like this far more manageable terrain, following the river along, you do find yourself getting a fair distance, especially considering you left in the morning. You arrive pretty much at Zora's domain within the day, as you kind of move along the flat earth, or the flatter earth, far more I'm tripping over my own words. As you move along the more pleasant ground, with sparse trees following the river along, it's a very pleasant experience. Leaving the mire behind, the rest of nature manages to just take hold again. You hear birds chirping in the distance, and the overcast skies of that morning seem to kind of burn away to a nice bright sun. And eventually you find yourself coming across a series of mountains, which kind of where you follow a series of like narrow ravines along these predetermined paths. You see these very ornately designed lamps that are hanging from the craggy walls of these ravines, and eventually they open up into a beautiful sight as you enter Zora's domain. Before you, as you enter, you see that the majority of the town is built into the cliff sides of this almost gargantuan lagoon. The water here seems to kind of glisten more so than it would do. Almost like liquid jewels as it pours from various artificial waterfalls into the main bay. You can see a variety of ships that are docked into a small docking yard, and everything seems to kind of be made with these sweeping designs and built around these blue jewels that accentuate the waterways that are common here, and in fact make up most of the town. You see a lot of the Zora, chiefly sea Zora, that are either guarding various different entrances. Most of the Zoran guards appear to be wielding tridents and wearing sparse armor, likely in order to make it easier for them to swim should they need to head into the water. But you do see a lot of the Zora swimming within the lagoon itself or conducting business on dry land. You do see a couple of non-Zora there, here or there. Most of them seem to be traveling merchants of some kind as they interact with the locals. Welcome to Zora's domain.
So is the kind of like the city itself built into this cliff? Would that be mostly like dry land, or do you also see that there's maybe buildings underneath the water?
Yeah, Yeah. Think of it like a mix between like Ocarina of Time, where Zora's domain is basically in a series of caves, but also Breath of the Wild, where there's kind of this sweeping wave-like architecture
Right.
made out of like marble and stone. There are buildings that are definitely underwater, where you can see some Zora conducting business, but there are a bunch of places that are on dry land as well, like a significant amount. And you can quite clearly see that there are various pools that are hanging in the cliff sides. So it's not like the entirety of where the Zoras can bathe or swim is within the big lagoon area port itself.
And these pools are kind of like connected with waterfalls as well, or?
Yeah.
Right. As we approach, I will give a Zoran salute to the guards.
One of them, they both kind of perform a similar salute. They say, "Welcome to Zora's domain. Is this your first time here?"
For some of my companions, yes. Not for myself. And I look over at Ziden to see if he's been here.
Not for myself.
Very well. So for the benefit of those who have not been here before, if you would like to head over to the main thoroughfare over there, points to the opposite side of the dock, and then you follow his fingers to show like a bridge that heads over to the other side. Says there are plenty of businesses there that are more than accommodating for individuals such as yourself of your persuasion. I do apologize. It is after all, you are not exactly as aquatic as we are, no?
Nice is too busy staring at everything like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I think it's cool to be offended.
I reply in Zoran, and I know the language well enough to know that I call us something like I'm aware that we are dry folk, and that's kind of sarcastic, not a very good attribute. Anything dry is just it has a bad connotation in Zoran, I would think.
There is that, but it's also he wouldn't point you down to the bottom of the bay, whereas you can go to the inn at the bottom of the bay because you could breathe underwater, right?
Feel free to dive off wherever you want.
But yeah,
you'll probably hit water.
We merely ask that while you're staying here, you remain as cleanly as possible. After all of Hyrule's water flows through Zora's domain, and we do our best to maintain that the water that flows through here is the purest that it could possibly be, as dictated by the wisdom and guidance of our Lord Jabu Jabu.
I nod and say again in Zoran, the citizens of Castletown shall not sully these waters.
That is all we ask. Thank you.
And I nod and then kind of move my horse in the direction of the inn that they had pointed out.
Okay. You make your way over the bridge, seeing you make your way over the bridge. You can see for one side, you can see another view of the whole city, the whole domain, that kind of continues to glisten in the setting sun. And onto the other side of the bridge, you can see this really kind of picturesque view of the river as it heads west to eventually empty out into the Great Sea just north of Sarkoza. As you kind of get onto the other side and begin to maneuver along, you start to hear over the over the trickling water and many waterfalls, you hear the hustle and bustle of business being conducted in the evening of the city. People are kind of like, for all intents and purposes, it seems not too dissimilar from Hyrule Castletown. Like, aesthetically, it looks, the two places look nothing alike, but when you kind of get in the mix of the city itself and people are wandering around, bartering for goods, conducting their businesses and everything, there is that familiar feel of kind of this big city busyness. And you see a variety of signs that are written in Zoran. Actually, as you get over to the other side, I'd like everybody to make investigation checks to see if they can find an appropriate inn.
Who wants help? That being said, as we're going through, instead of making an investigation check, perhaps,
+2 for that. So
I would be just kind of taking a glance around, looking for 3 things. A place where we could possibly buy warm stuff, magic shop, or that's like that's the
that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's a 5 total.
Okay.
Or the the owner of that other trading company that I can't remember the name of, to see if he's still here in Zora's domain.
Oh, the Zephyr's Favor. Okay. Yeah. As you're kind of going around, I'd say that because you're kind of keeping an eye out of it as you wander, as opposed to purposefully looking for it, I'd say make a perception check.
Absolutely.
Because you might encounter
Nope.
it on the way. Ah. Okay.
I tried.
You tried. That's fine. Still a 7. So as you guys maneuver along, Ziden, your time here has lent you some kind of familiarity that allows you to begin to pick out 2 potential inns. One of them is called the Snoozing River, which is kind of in the somewhat lower areas of the town. For what you remember, it might be like a fairly modest establishment. And the other one is the Restful Source, which is much closer, or much higher up in the city, and much closer to the palace, and is incredibly luxurious and also incredibly expensive.
Ziden suggests the Snoozing River.
Okay. As for your checking, Hikan, sadly, on your journeys around, you cannot seem to find any evidence of the Zephyr's Favor or a kind of shop that would specialize in warm clothing or traveling supplies.
Darn. Oh well. It happens.
As we head to this inn suggested by Ziden, I kind of mentioned that last time I was here, I was staying at this place higher up. Like, back then I was maybe like 30 or something.
Of course he was.
Of course he was.
Like, I'm thinking, if I'm in the royal entourage, then I must have stayed somewhere nice. And Renji might not consciously think so, but it's like, oh yeah, I've been here and like stayed up there, and not think about the prices just yet.
Okay.
Nice
like unblinking stare and continue leading the way.
What?
Nice is just like, I don't care where we go.
Oh, I don't mind. It's just I've not been in this place before.
Okay. Alright, so you move your way through the town, and eventually you find yourself at a small place that's set into the wall of the cliff called Snoozing River. It's fairly nice inside. Like, the thing that stands out to you most of all at this point is probably the fact that the building itself, because it's set into the side of a stone cliff, Or like everything is kind of carved out of the stone itself, and kind of lined with all this kind of coral and other little trinkets and everything. It's quite empty in here as well, despite the fact that there are several tables that are suited for a fairly large number of guests. There appears to actually be no one in here but the bar person themselves, who appears to be this kind of orangish colored sea Zora, who has something of like a more roundish features. First fish that comes to mind when describing their features is pufferfish. And she kind of looks over and says, "Oh, hello."
Good day. Do you offer rooms here?
Rooms. And she kind of like ponders it.
Can we see rows of keys behind her?
Yes. It says,
And as I see those keys, or are the keys just for show?
"Oh, I suppose we do. My name is Meridia. Yes, Meridia is my name. Welcome to the And she pauses again, and like looks down behind the counter and says, "The Snoozing River.
Can we insight whether or not, like, she's just ditzy, or is this like she's got the owner of the inn trapped under the counter?
Okay, sure. Go for an insight check.
Right. That's a 20 for me.
7 for Ziden.
Let's see. 17.
17 for Max.
Okay. Okay.
15.
Ziden, you're not sure. As for there's something about this person that kind of escapes you. As for the rest of you, she does genuinely seem to be this ditzy, possibly like just very, very forgetful.
Well,
And she.
A friend.
But yeah, she says, so
Yeah.
I would how many rooms are you looking for?
Now this is the question. No, we are looking for about 3 rooms, if you have them.
Rooms. Okay. And turns back to the keys, and then turns back again and says, there's something else I need to mention. Oh, and she kind of leans down and pulls up a clipboard from the looks of things and says, so the rooms, they come in 2 or 3 different varieties. There is
Oh no.
one which has normal spring mattresses, I think. I think that's it. Yes, spring. We also have the basins. If you would like to rest in a basin of fresh, clean water. There is also another type of the waterbed, but I think it looks like a sort of leather bag that has been pleated and filled with water that way. Which would you like?
Could you tell me more about those, the leather waterbed?
Yes, it is. It is basically a sack about the size of a bed mattress that is then filled with water.
Would you say it's
Then she kind of just shrugs and it's like that's that's all she's got.
Okay. Is there any difference in price for the normal spring mattresses or the waterbed?
Well, let us see. and she will say that she'll say that the spring mattresses, they are 5 silver pieces a night. The same for the water basin, but the actually water beds themselves, they are 8 silver pieces per night. They can be fragile, especially if you were to sleep on them with sharpened pointy things. So it is it is like covering the cost of a potential repair, as it were. I think, at the very least, that's what I have written down here. You see.
All right. I personally would love to try those one of those waterbeds. If my companions want anything else, they are very welcome to say so.
I can rest with Renji then, since I wanted to try it too.
I just look to Ziden and Vara because I won't be in a bed.
I look over at Max. There's a basin if you'd like.
Why would I like that?
I don't know. I was trying to make a joke.
Mara says,
Max gives you the kind of stare that says he hasn't heard a lot of jokes.
Oh, you poor thing.
Mara will say, well, I think I'll just go for a normal spring mattress, if that's okay. I'll, and she kind of just pulls out, like, pulls out 5 silver pieces. And she kind of puts it on the counter, and Mary says, okay, let us see this one, and pulls a key off the rack and then provides to Mara. There's a, and for you, sir, she says to Ziden.
Spring is fine. Ziden will give some money.
Nods, provides you with another key, and takes the money and puts it somewhere, and does the same with the rest of you as you in the process of taking your funds in order to provide you with rooms for the night. And she says, there is one more thing that I have been asked. I need to ask of all of you.
Yes.
What you did you want to have breakfast in the morning?
I would love to. Yes.
Okay.
What will be on offer for breakfast?
Oh, let us and she kind of pauses a moment and then stops and heads over and finds a another sheet of paper and says, let us see.
Is it laminated?
It's not laminated, but there's a texture to it that you can see that seems like it might be kind of like covered in a wax of some kind. And she says, okay, I have the I can fetch the normal bread and cheese and the some meats that we are that we have delivered in from other towns, but mostly food that is found here is fish. So I can I have a reminder to go in the early morning to find a fishmonger to get the freshest fish possible. Is there any fish that you would want to have specifically? We could do a salmon. We could do a trout. There is a nice Auden bass that that had been in plentiful supply as of late.
All of those sound very nice, and if there's no, I don't really have a preference for those.
Hikan, because it's related to foodstuffs, remembers that Max liked fish when they were in Sarcosa, so Hikan will suggest salmon. Because that's a salt and freshwater fish.
Okay. She takes out a pad of paper and writes all this down, and then writes it down again, and kind of puts it somewhere where it's very visible. Says, I shall hope to have that supplied to you tomorrow morning.
Do you run this in by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Just seems like quite a large place for just one person by themselves.
Well, I had the fortune to come across it, and I forget the original reason as to why, but I enjoy it here, and I enjoy providing a place to rest for people.
Seems like a very noble task.
Thank you.
They look over the others, kind of unsure what to do next.
Same. Guess we could go
depending
look
on
for
the time, we'll
supplies.
Either getting our cold weather supplies or sleeping.
Depends what time it is.
It's still early evening. Like, it hasn't gone dark yet, so you could probably find a place that still sells stuff.
Do that and then head out first thing tomorrow. Maybe. Unless people want to do stuff in the city.
I don't
Well,
have
we
anything
need-
in particular to do.
Other than finding something warm, and if we can find something, I'd like to find something that makes it so I can take a hit a little bit better. But especially if I'm gonna be smart and go against high noxes again. And Khan's eyes just like he looks down for a little bit, and eyes go wide as he was hit with a club really freaking hard.
I guess we better start looking then.
Okay. As you head out, Meridia gives you a wave as you all head back into
Yeah, wait back.
into Zora's domain. Right. Give me some investigation checks, folks.
Right
Who
then.
wants help?
I would like some help.
I help Renji.
That's a 19 on investigation.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Natural 20.
No modifier. Because very average smart.
There's no way I could have gotten any of those numbers.
Oh, you might have got a 16.
Maybe.
Roll really high.
Through your investigations, now that you've situated a very, very temporary home base, you head through the city and find rather quickly a shop that is a little higher in the higher up the cliffside of Zora's domain. A place that is called Scalebound Expeditions. It is about the same size as the Snoozing River, at least when you peer inside, but all the walls are covered in a wide variety of exploring gear. And situated behind the counter on the other side is a heavy-set Zora of a white color, and he kind of looks at you and smiles, and you can see he's kind of got like kind of looks like a beluga whale. And he says, hello and welcome to Scalebound Expeditions. My name is Rogabo, and how can I help you today? You don't get your kind around here in Zora's domain very often. You must be on quite the adventure, I imagine.
We're passing through. We're on our way to Snowhead Mountain.
Ah, Snowhead. That is quite the journey. Are you sure you're up to the task?
Better be.
We've faced more difficult challenges.
He kind of like chuckles to himself a little bit and then stands up. He's roughly, at best estimate, 7 foot tall. And he kind of like trudges over.
Pretty small for a beluga.
Yeah. And trudges over and kind of...
Max would make eye contact if he was taller.
Yeah. Trudges over and like strokes his chin as he looks over all of you and says, So how are you doing for equipment at the moment? Are you prepared for such an environment?
Not yet. I mean, I have my cloak, which offers some protection against, well, danger, but not so much against cold.
Ah, the cold, yes. Bitingly cold in Snowhead Mountain, more so than you would think for a place named as such. And he heads over to a particular rack which has like a wide variety of these deep brown cloaks and coats that look very heavy and thick, and he kind of takes a couple off the rack and then throws them to you guys and says, try these on, see how they fit. And as you do so, he kind of continues on and says, there are the wide...
I just imagining Max has got one for someone his size and is just absolutely buried in it.
Yeah. It's nice and toasty, at the very least. And he says, so, are you, I have to wonder, how much do you know of Snowhead and its dangers?
Big mountain.
Yes.
I know that a noble person's being really brave in trying to build a house there.
Ah, yes. Lord Glastel, I believe his name is. Interesting place to live, one must imagine. But, well, he went up the mountain several years ago, with a group of Goron workers and some hired hands, and hasn't come back down since. The workers did, or at least most of them did. So I imagine that at least what he was working on was completed, but, well, he's either living there and having the time of his life in his little dream project, but otherwise he might well be dead.
Guess we'll find out. Same we're going to see.
Ah. Very, very interesting. So
could you tell us more about the dangers that you're insinuating?
Well, and he kind of like, as he's kind of examining each of you to see how well the coats fit and everything, he's kind of just like seeing how long in the sleeves things are and going, he says, well, for the most part, the actual landscape would probably be the least of your worries. It is not a location that is typically traversable by foot. There's even then, I hear tell of several scouts that have been in that general area, finding no such footpath that leads to anywhere. It is a series of crags and ravines, ice covering pitfalls of several hundred feet. It is dangerous. at least the landscape is by itself. And that's not to account for the other things that dwell within that landscape. He kind of takes some of the cloaks off of you, goes back over to the rack, and gets another set and provides you with those for you to try on. All in all, the quality of the cloaks are fairly nice. They're not the best you've had. They might itch a little bit, but otherwise they keep you nice and warm, and they are nice and cushy soft and everything like that. He says,
I just want something that would cover my armor, so that I would still have the benefit of the of the armor itself, and not freeze to death.
Yeah.
Hikan's muttering something about how sleeves are bullshit because he can't move freely in them.
He kind of alternates between a full coat and then a cloak and all that kind of stuff. Says, besides the landscape, the things that live there have a couple of varieties. A breed of wolfos that has decided to make its home there it has adapted to the landscape itself and has become much tougher, more vicious for it, almost becoming one with the snow that it dwells within. There are, of course, the yetis. At least the yeti or something. We heard tale of some kind of abominable monster that dwells in these mountains. Roughly 17 foot tall, made of just a massive, angry muscle and fur. So, of course, those are only rumors. There is also these... I think that is about it, besides the most recent acquisition to the Snowhead Mountain Range, and that would be the dragon.
Nice,
Excuse me?
instantly growls.
He kind of nods slowly. He says, there is a relatively young dragon that apparently dwells within Snowhead, some creature by the name of Tundranax, as it proclaims itself. Only one or two scouts had ever come back from the mountains upon discovering it, saying it wanted to let them go so that they could pay tribute in the future. Needless to say, scouting missions have been few, far between, and very carefully planned out whenever venturing into that mountain range.
Right, I have heard of him.
Hikan wants to whisper in Sheikah to Ziden and Renji, do you think that's what Flaamgo's after?
Possibly.
And no one else seen this dragon?
Once or twice. A few people who live within Dora's domain occasionally claim to see a shadow as they peer out towards the north that flies overhead, but otherwise, thankfully, we have not been assailed. It is possible that the dragon is not old enough to try and take a city of this size.
That's not gonna last.
So he's on the south side of the mountain, or?
He either calls the mountain itself his home, or is within one of the many smaller mountain ranges before it.
Okay.
So that is why I would say that if you are heading towards Snowhead Mountain, you'll best be prepared in many instances. And as he's kind of doing that, he's wanders over to a different rack and then pulls out several bags of heavy clinking material and places it down, and you can see strapped to one side is a very sturdy rope, and another one there's several pythons and a hammer, and says, you'll be wanting some of these. I do not know exactly what any of you are capable of, but I would suggest at least having a backup.
Max is very happy to have things that can help him climb stuff. But that is offset by news of dragon.
Yeah.
I think Renji wouldn't mind having some climbing gear as well.
Since you mentioned being prepared, where would someone go if they wanted, like, some of these? And Hikan will pull out one of the healing potions that he still has.
Oh.
Or, like, other types of gear than just survival stuff.
That is a good question.
Also, would Renji know what the freezing point of healing potions is?
Do magic
I'll just shake it up and have a healing slushy. It's fine.
Healing popsicle.
Do
Yeah.
healing do magic freeze.
Make an Arcana check or ask Mara.
I will try and figure this out myself.
Alright.
That's a 16.
You believe that magic potions tend to have, like, magic potions should tend to be capable of not freezing.
If they do have a freezing point, it hasn't been discovered yet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Besides, if they do get frozen, I'll just stick it next to Max for about, like, 20 seconds while his seething rage thaws it for us.
Yeah.
Also possible.
I knew it'd be useful for something.
Getting healed by rage.
Mm.
Says, well, the best persons to possibly ask would be the local doctor. Perhaps, I believe there is at least one small magic shop, but it doubles more or less as a joke shop.
Jokes are fun.
Okay, you'll probably want to see if you can find Samson Silius Jokes and Japes. It is near the harbor. It's probably the best place to go for that sort of thing.
Cool. Awesome.
How much for this?
I know where we can give up the bagpipes of annoyance.
Yes.
Finally,
Excellent.
after 10,000 years.
It's only been 40 years.
Okay, so go to the doctor and check out Samson's Jokes and Japes. Got it.
Okay.
So how much for this stuff?
Let's see here. So, how many? Well, I suppose I should ask, how many climbing kits do you need, and how many cloaks and/or coats did you need?
Full outfit for Renji and a climbing set for.
We take like 2 or 3 climbing sets. I should
I'd
at least
say
get all of us up.
Yeah,
thing.
3 climbing sets, one for Max,
So,
one for Renji, one for
yeah.
Mara, and then cloaks or coats for everybody.
Okay. Let's see. That would set you back roughly 80 gold pieces, if I can be so bold.
I put down 80 gold pieces.
Thank you very much.
Not playing in platinum this time? Not paying in platinum this time?
I'm actually running low on platinum. I need to get that sorted.
If only you had 8. Then you could show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 3 platinum. But I definitely want to exchange some of it, because even though I have a bag of holding, every time I want to pick out an item, I feel all those coins like boiling up, and it's not fun.
You don't need to lie. We know you just like platinum.
It is
It's a-
shiny.
It's prettier than gold.
It is.
As he kind of takes the money and puts it into a safe space, he kind of leans back on the counter and says, okay, so, I should say, before you make your journey up there, you need to confer with the guards that are guarding the gate exactly what your intentions are, so they know who to look out for, and possibly who to identify if you do not come back in the allotted time that you believe you'll be gone. in addition, I would suggest possibly acquiring some other materials as well from around town that you might need, even if you believe that it might weigh you down. It would be advisable for you to do so. And of course, if I do not see you before you disappear, when you do, I wish you safe travels. And yes, just stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have plenty of things we should keep a lookout for then.
Indeed. Of course, feel free to, and of course, in any case, you're more than welcome. Your custom is more than welcome here.
Okay.
On
Um,
heading out, Max is going to look toward the mountain and see if he can see the dragon.
Make a perception check.
I will join.
You didn't say where the doctor
Damn it,
was.
13.
13.
It's a 19 for me.
Okay. You peer out. You do not believe you see any shadow of a dragon. At least not yet. Rugabo looks you, Hikan, as you mentioned. He did not mention about the doctor. Says, "Oh, yes, of course. The doctor, he is located in a small surgery that is nearby the Snoozing River. I do not know if you have actually encountered that location before."
Yes, we just came from there. Thank you very much.
Good. How is Melodia doing, by the way?
What is with her, by the way?
Yes. Her forgetfulness. Sadly, several.
Hikan just stares incredulously at Renji for a minute.
What's wrong with her? It's like, oh no.
I did not say what's wrong with her. I said what's with her.
Because that's better.
There is something that Renji is curious about. He
Yes.
wasn't going to ask her.
Yes, her forgetfulness. While she is capable of maintaining a business as best as she can, we unfortunately had a bit of an accident several months ago. She had found herself unable to get to a nearby water source and had been subjected to gill rot. I do not know if you are aware of that.
Heard of it.
Unfortunately,
That doesn't sound great.
no, it does not. But unfortunately, because of the severity and the nature of the condition, we were able to save her life and allow her to continue doing as she did. But it did take a toll on her capabilities to remember things. So we try and keep an eye out for her as best we can.
Who is this we?
Myself, the doctor, most of Melodia's friends.
All right. It struck me as odd for her to run an inn by herself in such a condition. Good that she has those people around her.
Yeah, well, she does not remember exactly what it is that caused her to start an inn of her own, but all she knows at this point in time, at least for the most part, is that it gives her joy, and we would not want to remove that joy from her life, no?
I suppose so.
He smiles and says, I can assure you that even if she is a little forgetful at times, that you will enjoy your stay there. It is a nice, comfy place.
I have heard good things about the waterbeds.
Of course. Yes, well, I cannot say for certain, but I do enjoy a good basin every now and again. Or a nice snooze in a clean, cool pool of water, but I suppose if it comes to those of you who cannot breathe underwater, then it is a good middle ground.
We'll experience that firsthand this night.
Would lesser restoration be able to assist with her current state?
She, are you asking that in character to Rogabo, or?
In not character.
Okay, make a medicine check.
22.
You believe that the way Gilrot works, especially with like how long ago it was, and for it to have taken this effect, you believe that it's more of a degenerative thing. So lesser restoration you don't believe will work. The best thing you can hope for at this point would be something on the lines of regenerate, which is a very high level spell.
It's only 7. And hey, that's for restoring severed body parts.
Yeah. This is...
And
She still has her body parts.
Still has her body parts, but this is a very unique and unfortunate condition.
How about we go for middle ground, just go for greater restoration? I still don't have it, so it's still kind of a moot point.
you can't negotiate on cures for illnesses.
Sure you can!
This is not a barter system.
I'll say
All
that...
right. Hear
That
me
is
out.
how
Remove
how
curse.
politics thinks about it, though.
Please don't.
Please
Please
don't.
I'm sorry.
We have a nice fantasy game.
Yes, that's true. Everything
Devoid
is
of
Not
everything
that.
is
that.
wonderful.
All of you guys are over there, and I'm over here. Please don't.
Please don't.
I mean, we got our own
Yeah,
issue.
but anyway.
No, I do
I know.
apologize.
I know.
Anyway, I will say that if you like, the only way you could probably know for absolute certain is if you were to obtain the spell Greater Restoration and then try it. But you're not sure. Like, you know, you feel like Regenerate would have a definite success, but it might be a bit of a gamble with Greater Restoration. You're not sure.
Oh well. Just have to maybe come back here in a long, long time.
Yeah.
At least if you use Greater Restoration, it probably won't have a detrimental effect.
Or would lesser restoration even have a detrimental effect?
Sure. You feel like it might just not work.
I mean, one way of looking at it with greater restoration, if you're looking at it a bit more mechanically, is that greater restoration can reduce any reduction to one of a target's ability scores. So if you consider her intelligence to have been reduced by Gilrot, then that would be what it would be fixing.
Potentially, yeah. We'll just have to find out.
But there's also the question of would it just treat the symptoms or cure the disease?
Don't know. I'll have to stick with just using
So
the
many
lesser restoration
questions.
to upset Hikan.
Yeah. Alright. Onwards. So, you make your way back out to Zora's domain. Back into the wide, beautiful city of the Zoras. Where are you going to first? Is the doctor?
Hikan wants to go to Jokes and Jeeps first, then he can blow the rest of his money on potions.
Okay. Alright.
I'll go with Hikan at least.
Okay.
Ziden wants to go. For outer character, I would like for him to learn enough about the existence of the Ice Spider Queen to have that as an option to transform in whilst we're up the mountain.
You want to research things that are on the mountain then,
Yes.
in character.
And then in character, he will, given that Hikan mentioned it, give Hikan the bagpipes. These are
So there
yours now.
Yay! So Hikan's walking towards the harbor, just.
Okay. But yeah.
Max will go outside and
Alright. Okay. So, we'll do your researching thing first. So what you do is you head around and find a library, and it being a nice big, practically capital city of the Zoras, you do indeed find a library after some searching. I guess I'd say make a Ziden. If
Before I do that, I'm gonna make a wisdom save. Oh
Okay.
no.
Oh.
This is very tempted to steal these books.
Like a lot of it is written in Zora, but
I don't think that matters.
yeah, as you kind of
With an 8, I don't think that matters.
yeah, as you peruse the sections, Ziden, I'd like you to make for me a nature check, to find information about this particular spider.
Okay, I should also guidance myself.
Okay.
For a total of 22.
Okay. 22. Let's see.
I shall hit you with the link in Discord.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
It's pretty much just a higher challenge rating spider.
Yeah.
But given it's ice aligned, it would be quite good for going up somewhere so cold.
Okay. Oh, Storm King's Thunder. Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's also shockingly why I know about it.
That's true. Okay,
Don't
yeah.
worry, you're not going to fight it anytime soon.
It'll be fine. Okay. Sure. You do a bit of research and you find that there is indeed a ice spider variant that dwells within cold climates, that you are able to read as extensively as you possibly can to then add it to your repertoire, and will be in your catalog of beast wild shapes at some point between now and next game.
One.
But yeah.
I mean, I was considering, just turning into it in the middle of the library. That's probably bad.
Maybe just a touch. Just
Just someone walks along the shelves, they see a giant spider, like, I think I'm okay today. I'll learn tomorrow.
I've suddenly decided that books are not cool. Can I make a stealth check to steal a book?
Sleight of hand, please.
Okay.
Naughty.
14.
14.
I think that wouldn't hit.
I
Ziden's
have the same proficiency.
Okay. You
That wouldn't hit Biden's passive perception, so he will look very unhappily.
But you just see it looking through the shelves. Max has it back to you, and he's just kind of sliding a book into his bag.
Max?
What?
Max?
What?
Put it back.
The belt? What? He's like, it looks like he's only just realized he was doing it. Just kind of puts it back, just looks at his hand, like, what?
Ziden will walk out with Max and keep a much closer eye on him on the way.
Okay.
Max is just looking a little confused.
But yeah, you
What the fuck was I doing?
you leave the the library, and make your way to meet with the others. Meanwhile, Hikan, you and is Renji going with you?
Yes.
Okay, and to say Mara is also with you for the sake of simplicity. You make your way down to the Serious Jokes and Japes, a small shop that is, unlike most of the other buildings you've seen, not built directly into the cliffside. You can see that there is next to the harbor, there is a fairly sizable kind of courtyard plaza sort of thing. That is a sizable courtyard sort of plaza thing where there are several buildings and shops arranged around it. And one of them is a pretty large place, all things considered, that holds the title of Samson's Serious Jokes and Japes, with most of the windows kind of covered over with this red velvet curtain.
Seems like a contradiction.
Walk
Serious
inside.
jokes.
Well, you play serious jokes on people. Like some people get really competitive about it. I was one of those people. And Hikan just walks in.
Renji is going to just like say, "I don't get it," but do I need to roll a deception check for that?
And Hikan's walking in. He's on a mission, man.
Fair enough. I'm going to follow him in.
Okay. Inside, you find a cavalcade of color, as tables and stalls and shelves are covered with all these little different bright objects, of all these different varieties, and got little tags on them. Actually, when you enter in and the door opens, instead of there being the ding-ling-ling-ling-ling, there's a kind of very sort of comedy horn thing every time you wander in through the door. You're not sure how it does that, because you look up at the door and you don't find that horn. But as you enter in...
That's very curious.
Yeah. As you enter in, behind the counter stands a slender-looking Zora whose face seems to resemble that of a moray eel. And he looks at you with the side profile of the with the smile joke. Is that
how meme-ish.
Yeah. He's like, welcome. My name is Samson, and welcome to the Serious Jokes and Japes. We do not mess around when it comes to messing around. How might I help you?
Out of character, I'm thinking of the meme thing where they change the, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's a moray.
Yeah.
And then the second one is when you're swimming in a creek and something bites your cheek. That's a moray. But I can't figure out how to say that in character, so we'll just move on from that.
That's okay.
Well, two things. I know that this is a place of serious jokes, but it recently came to our attention that we have to go up to Snowhead, and so I was wondering if you might have something that would make somebody a bit hardier, because there's a lot of dangerous things out there, and unlike my friends, I tend to get right into things.
Ah.
I would add that we were referred to you specifically by the proprietor of the what was the name of the shop again?
Scalebound Expeditions.
Yes. By the proprietor of Scalebound Expeditions, that you may have some magical items.
Ooh. Logabo, he does not like to keep the secrets, no? Okay, let me have a look and see if I can help you with that.
Thank you.
And he kind of wanders away and says, feel free to have a browse. It is, well, simply visiting the shop is an experience in and of itself. As he wanders away. And I'll have a gander and see what we've got here. Looking around the shop, you have a different. We have a whole catalog of practical jokes and little joke items as well, like whoopee cushions and various different items and accoutrements, just designed to derive practical yet harmless humor out of a variety of situations. There's like cutlery that falls apart when utilized in any capacity whatsoever. There's what's the word? There's like invisible ink things. Yeah, it's not bad. Most of them are actually fairly cheap. Being things that you can buy with like several silver pieces if needs be.
Is there anything that I would think my father would fall for?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Hikan will assist with this.
In that
Because
case,
Hikan likes jokes.
I will roll again for a 21.
21. Okay.
And this must be like a choice item to prank my dad.
Oh. You did it. You pranked my dad. Oh god. You think
Hikan's going through certain things like the classic snake in a can, or like little bits here and there, to see if there's anything that like where he's like, oh, what about this? What about that? Like bringing all sorts of other things that he can see to Renji.
You think that with some adaptation, you could potentially have a stink bomb be modified to replicate a smoke bomb. You would be there's also like you see like a small can of itching powder as well. There's you also find what appears to be an ink pen. That seems to have like a false tip to it, so that when you apply any kind of pressure, it just kind of breaks off and pours ink all over the place, that sort of thing. So there's a few.
I'm probably going to see if I can get one of the stink bombs and repurpose it. The ink, like, I know Nihilus has a lot of paperwork, and that just seems mean-spirited.
Yeah. Okay.
Invisible ink might actually be really useful if you want to write things in secret.
True. Invisible ink, definitely. That would like. That's the sort of thing that would probably get a laugh instead of like breaking a pen and dumping a lot of ink across.
I meant
documents.
more like informing Nihilus that we could start trying to use invisible ink and writing things in it in order to make sure that they're not read by anyone.
Right. So for the invisible ink, would that have like a way like revealing the writing?
Yeah, it comes with instructions on how you can do that.
Okay. Then I would also like want to get that and figure out a way of like replicating it for multiple uses, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Renji, what does your dad like to drink?
I believe he is like he doesn't drink much. Like he generally drinks some ales, but he doesn't really go for mead.
No. Like teas, waters, like everyday things that he might put in a special cup.
Like generally water he would go for, or otherwise he would go for like fruit juices.
Oh, he wears lots of fancy stuff. I don't know if I want to do that with the fruit juice then. And Hikan pulls out a cup, and like when you tip the cup, there's a little like gravity, like a little thing where the cup moves, like a little part on the inside of the cup moves, and there's a hole before it gets to the rim, so it makes a splash, like it spills on them. It's like, but it's fruit juices, and that would stain his stuff, and that would be very bad.
Right.
Yeah, well, it was worth a try.
It is, definitely.
After a moment, Samson comes back, and he has kind of like a small box of things and says, well, I do have these potions here. They are 50 gold pieces a piece. They are for the healing of wounds, as it were. I only have 3 at the moment. As for anything on the prevention of damage as opposed to repairing it, and kind of like casts a cursory eye over you and says, that cloak that you are wearing, does that do anything particularly special?
It makes me harder to hit, but I'm already pretty hard to hit, and I think I'm pretty okay on that. But it's more like when I do get hit, I tend to get really hurt. So like something that makes it so I can take more hits if I do get hit.
I understand. Let us see here. I have, I believe, 2 things that might be of worth to you.
Okay.
At least I believe them to be. I have here 1 potion of resistance. It is a little expensive, chiefly because, well, it is very hard to create. I do have a copy of the recipe and the materials that you would need, but it could take a while to construct. I could sell you the potion for 100 gold pieces and the recipe for 200 gold pieces if you prefer. Of course, you would need a dedicated alchemist's kit or something of equivalence, and as well as familiarity with that sort of thing.
I think we've got somebody that could help us figure it out if I can't figure it out there. Okay, a potion of resistance, is that all that you have with that, or?
Yes, it is a potion of... roll a d10 for me.
Alright. Oh, I was about to roll a physical die. It's like, wait, no. 8.
I believe this is... he kind of holds it up and it has this kind of like purplish hue to it. He says, I believe this to be a potion of psychic resistance.
I don't know if that's gonna help us if we're going up the mountain, though.
Oh, the mountain, yes.
Yeah.
Looking for something.
Though I wouldn't mind having that just in general.
Okay, well, as said, it is 100 gold pieces for the potion of psychic resistance.
And I start to take out some coins. 1, 2. No, I just start figuring it out, and I'm testing my bag of holdings ability to give me 101 gold pieces.
Okay. You acquire 101 gold pieces.
And I take 1 off, and I put the 100 gold pieces on the counter.
Okay. He scans them over quickly before he takes them and then provides you with the potion of psychic resistance.
I put that in my stuff.
Was the
Excellent.
potion of resistance the only thing that he had? I know he said. I thought I might have misheard.
I had 3 potions of healing.
Okay, then yeah. Since he got the resistance potion, I will go ahead and get the 3 pieces of healing. Could I take a quick look at the resistance potion recipe?
Sure. I think that we can do that. Turns around briefly and provides like this little cue card sort of thing that he kind of puts onto the counter there. It is written in Zoran.
I can translate that.
Okay.
Renji,
Mhm.
so like I made the things with the poisons and like the
Right.
Hynex horn. If you
Yeah.
could find something that's like psychic, I don't know what that means, but if you could find something that's like that in there, maybe we could sub that part out with something that's cold.
Sure, yeah. And I like start to read through it.
Okay. Make a Arcana check or an Alchemist's Kit check based on intelligence if you have that proficiency.
Then Arcana it is.
Could I assist with brewer's
Hey.
kit proficiency?
Like I
No,
won't
I'm
like
kidding.
try and translate as I read.
Hmm.
In that case, if there's anything that that Hikan notices, maybe he can help that way.
Didn't Mara go with you?
Oh, Mara
shit.
did go.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry, Mara. Darn it.
Thanks.
Hi. Could you help? I'm not sure how proficient you are in Zoran, but I can translate if you aren't.
I think I can manage it. Let me have a look. And,
Zoran has a kind of like a je ne sais quoi to it.
oops.
No!
That's just-
0!
Wow. Oof.
Yeah, sorry, need to. Something that's
Man,
missing.
macros are weird.
Yeah. There we go. Seem to be missing from my character sheet. 19. So she kind of peers over and says, "Yeah, I think there's something. I think I've got the basic idea of it down. Just replacing this bit with this bit and this bit with this bit. Okay.
Cool. If that's the case, since we did that, I will go ahead and buy that and the 3 healing potions, please.
Okay.
But would you be interested in trade? And I like move the bagpipes that I've totally haven't been sneaking because there's no way to sneak with these things
Yeah.
or hide them. I just will move them up and put it on the counter.
Like this, he looks at it, and the smile widens. He's like, "Please do tell me that these do more than just simply be bagpipes."
They are
Very annoying.
magically annoying.
Yes.
Magically annoying bagpipes. Oh.
Think
Like-
of the jokes, the pranks.
Like literally
shenanigans.
magically annoying.
That is, ooh. Like assesses it pretty quickly and says, "Okay, so how about I give you the potions, the recipe, and in return you could provide me with 150 gold pieces and these beautiful bagpipes."
I put down 50 more gold pieces.
Okay, then I will put down 100.
No, I already gave him 100.
You gave him 100 for the potion.
Yeah.
I'm getting the recipe and
Oh,
3 more
yeah,
potions.
you're getting the other potions. My bad.
Yeah.
Got that.
Hey, so he says, "Pleasure doing business with you." And he kind of like picks them up with a as they do, and it's like, already this is a wise investment. And he kind of puts them to one side as he puts the coin somewhere safe. And he says, "Well, I think yes. Is there anything else that you would like to purchase before long? You have been very good customers to me today."
Renji, you wanted the ink and the stink bomb, right?
Right, yes. How much for those?
Oh, how about one gold piece will be enough for those.
Ooh, you drive a hard bargain. And I put down the one gold coin that I had taken out of the 100 gold pieces.
I wouldn't be running a successful shop if I did not, huh?
You got me there.
Well, in any case, thank you very much for your custom. You are more than welcome to return should you wish to fill your lives with more jokes and japes.
Thank you.
Keep that in mind.
And he waves to you as you head off. And I think what we'll do is we'll call that for a session there because it is getting rather late. Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching / listening. My name has been ArticulateT. This has been Zelda D&D Hyrule Chronicles episode 51. With me today, as always, I have had Renji Vox being played by TheNetherlad.
Good night.
I've had Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
Good night. Wash your hands. Socially distanced. Stuff's not lifted yet.
I've had RoboPirate playing Ziden Shari.
I'm gonna be an even more terrifying spider.
Yay. And playing Max, I've had Keithstrith.
Someday I will learn what hoarding is.
But it is not this day.
And we will see you next time. And as Alvarance says, wash your hands, social distance, stay indoors, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.